think that this news about Isak is PR or real? It's also been said today, so that's the wrong screenshot. It's also been said today that this is from Alex Crook, who broke the news today that Trent has made his mind up. He said that I keep hearing murmurings that Alexander Isak is a big, big, big target for Liverpool, even if Mo Salah stays. And sort of the media, and Liverpool are normally very quiet on transfer stories. You very rarely hear anything, but there seems to be this big push from the media that the Isak transfer to Liverpool is heating up and is gaining some momentum. Do you think this is Liverpool fans trying to push out some potentially good news? Oh, we're really looking at a star player like that, even if Trent stays? Or do you think there's some truth in this?
I think you can have... Isak can be the top number one target for Barcelona, Liverpool and Arsenal. We've got to go and get him. Right? So we can have all these rumours about Arsenal wanting Isak and Liverpool being a fan of, and Barcelona's target is in advanced talks with. These guys have got to come across the line. Like Liverpool, for me, if they do lose Salah, Van Dijk and Trent, Isak level of signings have got to come in for them to have any chance of replacing anywhere near that quality. So the likes of Isak has to walk in the door at Liverpool, in my opinion. I don't think Isak's going to go anywhere, people. I've got to be real. I'm not even putting him as one of my kind of we should go and get anymore.
What about if we don't get Champions League, Potsy?
I still don't know, because it's not so much about him not wanting to go. It's about Newcastle not wanting to sell and having to be Isak forcing a move. And I don't know that I see that, even if they come sixth this season. And I think it would cost ridiculous amount of money. I think people are expecting like 90 million, but it's going to be like 150 or something stupid like that for Newcastle to even like talk to a club. So I just think it's unobtainable, if I'm honest, for any club right now. So I think Gyökeres is the one that I would be looking at trying to go all out for. A lot of the Arsenal fans I speak to are really confident about getting Isak this summer. They think it's going to be a Declan Rice scenario and that we're just going to go and get him and that he'll force the move and it will happen. I don't know how they can say that. I don't know that he would choose Arsenal over Liverpool or Barcelona. And I don't know that he's definitely going to want to leave Newcastle, right? So we've got to be realistic about it at the same time. For Liverpool, it'd be a phenomenal signing. For Arsenal, it'd be a phenomenal signing. But do we really think Isak is going? Like, do we genuinely believe Isak will be lining up next season in August in a Liverpool or an Arsenal shirt? I don't know that I do, boys.
I think Liverpool are going to try. As I say, I think that Liverpool knew last summer that they're going to lose all three of these players, and that's why they're saving the cash. So I do think they're going to try and get Isak. The problem I have with that is that, say their budget's 250, let's say 350 or 300, sorry. You're spending half of it. I'd be amazed if Newcastle sold Isak for less than 150. Amazed.
Yeah.
Really would. So, even if you bring it down to 120, that's a lot of money. You still need a right back. You still need a right winger. You still need a centre back. You know what I mean? You probably need a DM. You need a left back. Then you got to be thinking about Kanate next year. Then you got to be thinking about Alisson the year after. Left winger, what's going on there? You happy with Gakpo? It's a lot. There's a lot to do, man. And Isak is a brilliant player, but I feel like if these three players do leave, they might have to spread the cash a little bit more, and therefore, maybe go for a Gyökeres cheaper and get more players in, unless they've got a mad budget. I don't know what the PSR spend and how much budget they've got, but if you get Isak, is that going to be enough if you lose the other three players? I just don't see it, man. But I think they'll try, because I think Liverpool know that they need to go big this summer. They need to get like big players in if these guys leave, and Isak's like one of the biggest you can get. Just don't know if that'd be the right strategy.
I think with Liverpool, I think a lot of I'm going to speak from their fans' perspective because I understand it, and it's partly my view. Their owners, their board, their media gurus at the club have done this so many times in the past 4 or 5 years. The sorts of we'll go and get the Bellinghams, we'll go and get the X, we'll go and get the Ys, we'll go and get the Zs. It'll be next summer, or we'll get it in the next window. We're not buying anyone this window, but the next one's going to be massive. They may make some inquiries, and the conversations have already been speaking to the camp. But I agree with you, LB. I suppose it depends how many of these players that leave. Ornstein today said, I think I read someone posted it does like a Q&A thing on the Athletic platform, where he basically alluded to Bradley's the Trent replacement. So so there are rumors they're going to look at Frimpong for around 60 million euros, but there's also talk that Bradley is just going to be promoted into being the number one. So, and if Bradley is, then that means not spending big money in that area. If Van Dijk signs a new deal and Bradley is the replacement, then I look at it and think, well, they want Kirkes at left back, which is about 50 million, 60 million. Then if they did spend, because I don't think Isak's one of these things. I think to buy Isak, if he isn't forcing a move himself and pushing to leave, it's costing you 150 to 200 million. If Isak does have his head turned and says, I really want to go, I think they might be able to get the price down, but still then it's going to be 120s, 125s. So I really do think it depends on who does and doesn't leave. But if all three go, as we've already mentioned, and they want to buy a new right back, and then they've got to buy a new centre back, they need a new left back. I don't see how they do all of that and buy Isak. And I say that because Liverpool, they have spent big money. They've broken world records as an example. But FSG don't spend like City do. They don't spend like Chelsea. They don't spend like Man United have done. They spend big, but they typically don't do it that way around. So I'm not necessarily saying it's PR. I just feel for Liverpool, it just feels like it's a bit of a pipe dream if they lose all three of those players. Now, if they kept Van Dijk and Salah, but they've got the money to replace them, then yeah, go all out and get Isak. You suddenly add Isak as the number 9 with Salah to the right of him. They're renewing. They're not renewing. They are retaining their Premier League title, in my opinion. Because if Trent leaves and Van Dijk and Salah stay and they sign Isak, I genuinely think they'll retain the title. With Isak and Salah in your front line, you are probably going to outscore most teams, which means you'll win most games. So it's an interesting one for Liverpool. I think the more players they lose, the less likely Isak is, like you've said, LB, because they've got to spend that budget replacing all those individuals. So yeah, the new contract renewals are going to be a real interesting one. But yeah, look, as it says from Steve, the chairman is standing strong that they're not going to sell Isak. And I agree that Newcastle have got no desire to sell him. It's about Isak and whether or not he wants to leave, I think. Because you've seen your club, LB, and please correct me if I'm wrong, your club lets people go that don't want to be there anymore within reason. So when a player's like, I don't want to, you did it with Sane and Torres. And I think if Haaland said, look, I don't want to sign a new deal, I really want to leave, I do think your club would sell him, if that made sense.
Bring the fee. This is the fee. Bring the fee, you go.
Newcastle ain't selling to the red cartel. Listen, you got to understand there is no such thing as a red cartel. It really isn't. It's all just about right now. Do you know?
There is. We all know there's a red cartel. That's what the cartel would tell you guys.
115. Yeah, it's got 115 FC. Do people realize right now when it comes to the spending cap, both the gym and the Ineos board and City's board are working on a task force to get the votes in their favor to have that removed. It's what I say a lot. I get the red cartel talk and it's all fun and banter, but on a real level, Faz, the clubs will partner with. Everton's a great example. Everton were completely behind City with the ATP situation, right? And City like, thanks. And then one of the big things City threw in was the shareholder loans and how they're terrible. And Everton went, all right, we're jumping ship because they had shareholder loans. City didn't give a fuck about Everton's shareholder loans. City want what's best for them. Everton wanted what was best for them at the time. And that's how these things work. There's no red and blue cartels. It's literally everyone for them fucking selves, mate. I'm telling you, it's dog eat dog at that level. Let's do a few more of these super chats that came in. Why would Isak go to VVD and Salahless Liverpool?
Well, I've said a lot that I think Isak should wait out. I'll give it another year. I personally think Isak's next move should be to Barca or Bayern. That's what I've said. I've said it for time.
I think he has got more chance going to Arsenal than Liverpool if Van Dijk, Salah and Trent will leave. But I'm with LB. I think that he will probably, and I think Strasbourg Steve said it, I think his next club will probably be Barcelona. If I had to choose one club.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. To Potts, thoughts on Nunez to Arsenal? No.
Hopefully that's a load of waffle.
Oh, can you imagine?
I think he's going Saudi, isn't he? I mean, he's going Saudi, but yeah, no, I don't rate him. I don't like him. I actually think he's more of a winger than a centre forward. In front of goal, he does his best to miss. I do think he's been a bad signing, though, isn't he? He's been a bad signing. And I wanted him when he was at Benfica because he was balling out. He was scoring goals. And, people have always said about Gyökeres, oh, you'll be like that. And I think Gyökeres looks much better than Darwin Nunez. I'll say that. But obviously, there is that kind of question mark. But yeah, I don't want Nunez at Arsenal, man.
No, I hear that. This year, won't Isak and another good winger make up Salah's
Well, they've
GA.
got to. That's what I'm saying.
They
That's
have
what they've
to,
got
yeah.
to try and do to replace Salah. Is Isak and another baller out wide. Because there's only Gakpo. They could end up with Gakpo as their only front man in the summer. That's how mad it is. They're talking about Diaz and Nunez both leaving. Jota looks like he's going. Salah, they've got question marks over. Crikey, they could rebuild like a lot at Liverpool.
Yeah. Oregon Guna says Isak wants the Arsenal number
Big
14.
up to Oregon, man. Big up to Oregon every time.
On. One thing you guys forget is Michael Edwards. When is the last time his signing has been a flop? Only Keita, and that's because of injuries.
Well, he could have a big summer on his hands then.
Yeah, I don't think he'll sign crap players with Edwards being there. There's no doubt, but it's whether or not they get anywhere near the levels of the people leaving. So doesn't mean they're bad signings. It just means that they're maybe not quite of that level. This year says, if Arsenal had Isak and Saka, Odegaard never got injured, would Arsenal have won the league this season, or will Arteta always shoot himself in the foot?
I don't think we would have been guaranteed to win the league this season, even with that, if I'm honest, because the style of play hasn't been great, and we were struggling to score goals with Saka and Odegaard in the team. And I don't think it was always, look at the amount of chances that Arsenal are missing. I think there was games, certainly at the start of the season, where that was the case, and Isak would have taken us to that kind of next level. But would we have been 15 points better off this season? That's what we need to be to win the league. I don't know if we would.
You'd still be in a proper title race.
100%.
Yeah.
Would we have won it though? That was the question. I don't know. I don't know if we would have won the league.
I don't know if you would have won it, but you would have been close.
Yeah, you would have been closer. But
I think that's what I mean. We need more. We need more than Isak, man. A lot of Arsenal fans in the chat won't like to hear it, and some of them in the chat are losing their minds already. But Isak is not just the only problem at Arsenal. It's not the only gap at Arsenal. You don't go, right, Isak, now we're Arsenal going to go win everything. Nah, man, we need more than that. More than
I hear that. This here says, thoughts on this season being one of the poorest in terms of entertainment, quality, etc., and what might have contributed to this? Like refereeing.
I think it's facts. I think the entertainment has been dull, quality poor. Contributed to it. VAR is always going to contribute to it because it's a spoiler of the sport. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just think you are right. What contributes to it, I don't know, but
lack of quality, man. Lack of quality. I've got to be honest. Liverpool fans don't like to hear it because they think I'm trying to shit on them for winning the league, and it was easy. It wasn't easy to win the league this year, but the quality is not there, in my opinion. I've not looked at this season and gone, wow. Look at the quality compared to the 90s and the 2000s. And, Hussam and Mo would disagree with me on this, but I couldn't quite understand how. I just look at it now and I think it's a bit meh. Like, we're talking about, like...
Sorry. They said meh.
Oh, right. I didn't mean to do it like that. But, yeah, I feel like there's definite lack of quality in comparison to what it was in the 90s and 2000s. Look, us three are old enough to remember that. Some of the youngsters are not, so they think this is unbelievable. I don't disagree that it's the most competitive it's been in a while, and I quite like the fact that Brighton and Forest, Fulham and all these teams have got a chance this season of going and doing something. I love the fact that Forest are in the Champions League and we were a shout of staying there. That's brilliant for football. But in terms of the quality that we've seen on show, I don't look at many games this season and go, wow, like I've been on the edge of my seat there. That 4-3 filler was absolutely outstanding. Like I've enjoyed watching Brighton and Bournemouth this season ahead of the likes of City, if I'm honest with you. I can't remember the last time I said that. So,
well, at the end of the day, we've got no title race, we've got no relegation race, and people talk about the top 4 race, top 5 race. And say, oh, it's great. There's about 10 teams that can get into it. But you know what the difference is with the top 4? It's the battle of the worst. It's not the battle of the best to get in the top. No one's consistent. No one's winning games.
Battle of the losers.
It's the battle of the losers. It's the battle of who's the least crap to get in the Champions League. Like if every team from 10th to 3rd was winning every single week, and it was like, yo, this is relentless. Everyone's dropping points. My team were 1 in 14 and is like 5th or 6th in the league. It's like, it's insane, man. So yeah, it has been a dead league. Again, Liverpool fans don't take nothing against you. Your season's not going to have a caveat next to it. Like, you're still the best team. You deserve to win it. But like, it has been a poor league. I still think VAR is a killer of football, man. A killer. Yeah. And I hear it that like, yeah, they do stop some big mistakes, and they definitely do. But I just think it's the worst thing that's ever been brought into football. I really do, man. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a fan of it at all. I think it kills the excitement. It kills goal celebrations. And if I had the button to press, I'd get rid of it tomorrow. And I get that, listen, you'd get big mistakes, but we had that for 100 years and no one seemed to mind.
Yeah, I hear. Do you know what I was thinking about the other day and just thinking, do you know what they could just probably do? Like, you know, when it's offside, like just keep it for goal line technology, keep it for offsides.
I agree.
Keep it for offside. And even with offsides, maybe you could just do this thing of like
AI technology that they've got.
Yeah, you could do the automated technology or even create like a little thing that takes seconds to come up, create like a little buffer. And what I mean by that is, say you've got a player here who's the last defender. There's a little borderline, you know, it comes up in bright blue, either side of him of a few inches or a yard or so. And whatever the on-field decision was, if the player is within that margin, the on-field decision is stuck to. So if it's given as offside and you look at it and it was half an inch onside, he's within that blue margin, but it's still within that blue margin. If it's massively behind it, you give the goal. If it's given as onside, but he's past that margin, you get it. But you could probably do that. You know, when it comes up on the screen, we all watch on TV and you go, right, let's see if he's offside or not after a goal's gone in. We sometimes go, oh, that's close. And if it's close, you just go with the on-field decision. Does that make sense? The ones that some of them are really easy where you go, well, he's clearly like 2 yards offside. Just to keep it to that, get rid of the rest of it. No, I used to love VAR. I think the last 2 or 3 years, that prick Howard Webb. Plus, do you hear what the PGMO did to me? Or what they were doing with my Instagram. Do you guys watch that video of mine? So they filed those of complaints, copyright complaints against me featuring little bits, all within fair use policy, which we won all the cases on. These fucking weirdos. They were on my polls on my Instagram account, voting, yes, they made the right decision. Because I can see who's voting on what polls. We asked a question that, yeah, their official account. I saw it on Sunday. I was laughing so much I had tears in my eyes. Imagine how insecure you are. You're the PGMOL and you're voting on the Football Terraces polls to give us a one. Mad. And they were getting battered, like 80 saying they got it wrong and 20% yes. They voted in the yes category.
So do they follow you then on Instagram or something?
Yeah, they must have done. They followed the foot, and then after they voted, they then started trying to get everything struck and then taken down. And we just appealed it and said, look, yes, we've used like a split second of footage of a car being put up, but it's within fair use policy. And YouTube is shit for that. But Instagram and TikTok they backed us and went, yeah, it's within fair use. You're not sort of the content. It's repurposed content. We're not posting the incident and letting it be analyzed by them. It's just like little snippets. But it was the fact that multiple other channels have it up. Nothing, only because we called them out. And I think the video got something like 190,000 views. And on Instagram, they were fuming about it. And yeah, honestly, there's a little proud moment in my life when I was like, they voted on the poll. It's fucking hilarious, I tell you. I don't think we'll get Isak. Just don't seem like a signing but Berta would make. I think Seshko and 3 others seem more likely. What would you go for? Maybe Gyökeres, but Isak not happening. Well, you've already said that, haven't you? Like, you go for Gyökeres, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'd go Gyökeres now for me. I mean, Zubimendi, there's rumours, but they've got a little bit quieter again. I don't know if there's links to him staying in Spain. Nico Williams, we've been obsessed with for a while, but his release clause being 50 million is great, but does he want to actually leave? So they're all the players that we're being linked with at the moment. Seshko as well, obviously. So we'll see what happens.
There we go. Have there ever been a player you felt betrayed by or who betrayed your club?